Very good evening. We are delighted to have you all here, and we hope this session brings values to your career. We have some amazing insights and an engaging Q&A at the end. So be ready with all the questions you have, and you can just type in the chat box whenever you have any questions, and we'll pick them at the end. So, talking about the session, so I'm Divya, working as a community specialist at Uplers, and it's my pleasure to welcome you all to this amazing session. And tonight we are honored to have Arpit with us. With 15 plus years of experience in software engineering, Arpit is a senior engineering manager at Okta. So, welcome to the session, Arpit.
Thanks a lot, Divya. Good to have.
Great. So, before we start with the agenda, for the people who have joined the session for the first time, I would like to introduce you guys to our series of sessions we have done till date. At Uplers, our mission is to make hiring and getting hired reliable, simple, and fast. So, we have had some amazing sessions around our remote revolution initiatives, wherein we have invited speakers from top notch companies like GitLab, Atlassian, BrowserStack, and many other. So you can check these recordings on our YouTube channel. I'm sure it will be helpful for you. And currently, we are starting with the sessions which are majorly focusing on how to land a good tech job at top product based companies. So here we have Arpit from Okta who will be sharing his insights. So moving ahead to the session agenda. In this session, we'll be discussing essential strategies to prepare for tech jobs and crack interviews with expert tips and tricks to boost your chance of success. And we'll also provide an overview of Okta, its innovative work environment, the culture, the core values that define the company. You'll gain a clear understanding of the interview process at Okta from like you can ask any questions which we have kept of 15 minutes Q&A at the end. So looking forward to the session. Welcome, Arpit. Without much ado, let's dive into the session. To start with, tell us something about your career journey at Okta.
Sure. Thanks. First of all, thanks a lot, Divya, for the warm welcome. Really excited to be here. Hope I'm visible and audible clearly. Okay, cool. My name is Arpit Jain. I hail from a place called Bara, Rajasthan. Basically, it's a very small place in Rajasthan. Yeah, that's where I was born and brought up. I studied in a state board Hindi medium for a very good amount of time. I was really interested in maths, so that's how I moved to engineering. And also, the place is very near to Kota, so it was by default that Kota is very famous for engineering preparation. So I did my engineering from NIT Warangal. I did engineering in electronics and communication in 2009. And from the communication background, I moved to Avaya, which is a famous telecom. Like it is from a telecom industry. I was there for about couple of years where I was working on quality engineering, majorly on IPPBX and applications around it. Probably some of you might not know about IPPBX. So basically, back then we used to have IP-based phones, which used to be there in a lot of different companies, and then it was powered by the IP-based PBX, and there are various applications that used to run around it, like call center application, some call portal where you can manage your calls. After working for the couple of years, I moved into video conferencing because that was the time where video conferencing was booming. I joined a startup called Blue Jeans, which was really doing great in the video conferencing area and just started. I was the first automation engineer to join Blue Jeans. I joined there around 2014. Since I was the first one, I started building frameworks from scratch and basically worked set up the automation in a way that within a couple of months or 1 year the automation team itself grew from 1% to 10%. Basically in Blue Jeans I got a chance to work in different engineering domains. I worked in quality, DevOps, backend development, platform team, DevOps. So I got a taste of working across different engineering domains and principles. During COVID, few interesting things happened that I wanted to call out. Especially platforms like Zoom or BlueJeans or video conferencing platform, the usage grew to 10x or even like 50x at that time. It was really a crucial time for us at BlueJeans. That was the time BlueJeans got acquired by Verizon, and I moved to management side of things. I started taking care of management role. This was new for me. I was taking care of the team who was responsible for testing or performance testing and resiliency testing, which was very crucial at that moment for BlueJeans. Um, After that, I moved to fintech Razorpay, where I was a I joined as senior engineering manager, and I was taking care of similar teams. I was leading a platform team which was taking care of availability charter and also the quality for their core payment methods. Um, During the time after a couple of years, I was just building a pet project using Auth0 React SDK. And around the time I got to know about this opportunity where Auth0 is, or basically the part of Okta is building a team from scratch that is responsible for building SDKs and developer tools. So I tried for it, and I got lucky. Then I joined Okta about April this year, and it has been 6-7 months that I've been in Okta working on Auth0, and my experience has been really great. I'm loving it so far. On the personal front, so I have a daughter who is about 7 years, and she keeps me busy on when on the weekends and other days. She is like a mini boss basically. So basically, I'm working for her over the weekend. And other than that, I like spending, time doing a bit of salsa or Latin dance, and then I play guitar as well, a bit of guitar, and whatever time I get, I spend on OTT.
Great. Thank you so much for sharing your journey with us. And we appreciate your insights, and we are excited to learn from your experience. Moving ahead, many of us struggle with job applications and landing the right roles. Given the current competitive job market and the increasing demand for tech talents, what do you believe are the most crucial strategies and resources that candidates should focus on to effectively prepare for tech job interviews? With the evolving nature of technology, how can candidates stay ahead of the curve? And what are some common mistakes you have seen job seekers make when preparing for the interviews?
Yeah, I think with the ever-changing world, I think there are some things which you have to evolve based on, uh, the type of interviews that you're giving. But I want to highlight a couple of fundamental things that is applicable, that was and is applicable across, and that I think uh, will be or is really helpful for someone to crack interview on the tech side and even at other domains. So I have just consolidated all the points from my experience. First thing that I think is really important is having a strong foundation. uh, you know if I take an analogy of building a house, what is the most important thing when you build house? The house has to be very strong foundation. The nave has to be very strong. In terms of tech, I think that translates to data structures and algorithms. Basically, at any role that you're working on the tech side, you need to have very strong data structures and algorithm. Whether it is asked directly or indirectly in the interview, it really helps you out if you have a really strong foundation to build things on top of it. So that is my number one recommendation, to have very strong DSA. Understand fundamentals of it so that it can help you solving any problems. Once you have that basic fundamentals cleared out on why are we using particular data structure, what are the use case of an algorithm, if you're trying to solve a problem, why are we going ahead with a particular algorithm and not other ones, what are the, try to think of all the different options and then try to choose the best one. That also demonstrate a very good thought process. Uh, After that, I think it's really important to practice that coding. So um, good that one know theory about it, but then as and when when you practice about those problems, you come across different kind of unique challenges, limitations on how a particular algorithm can be applied, should be applied. So it's really important to practice. There are few platforms like HackerRank, LeetCode, Hacker, CodeWars. I mean, there are a lot of platforms that you can find. The important thing is, practice and have consistency. That can really improve, things for you. One important thing I really want to highlight is, in the current scenario is, don't rely on, just one language. If you have some kind of, let me explain about T model that, I think can be really effective. Everyone should have a very strong fundamental on one language. Like one should be core for core language. But once you have the core, try to look at other languages as well, and what are, some of the things that advantage that other languages provide over one. At least this will help you compare different languages. For example, someone is working on JavaScript and really, has gone deep into it. Good to know about other languages like Go, or basically anything on the backend side. Someone who is working on the backend, it's good for them to understand a bit of front end. So it gives you a very holistic and overview picture. And in the long run, it makes you more flexible as well. For example, if you have to work on something else, you have to build something quickly, you'll be able to do that much faster if you have command over multiple languages, having one core skill. Let's move to next slide. Yeah. Right. This is one of the area that I really want to highlight. You- Cultivating a strong online presence. Um, I think having a good open source profile where you are highlighting your work on GitHub, on what are the things that you are working on. It's really easy for someone to see that kind of work. Uh, when you write in the resume, someone can read your experience. But when you write the examples, or basically when you have some kind of, for example, GitHub repos where you've done some kind of specific work, if someone sees that, they will have more confidence, in your work. And I think many people, like if I give an example of my team, right? So I was trying to, in one of the one of the SDKs, it was very specific, but it was open source. So a lot of people were contributing outside as well. And I saw one person who was really, contributing, providing unique solutions to it. Had a really different thought process. Sorry. Yeah. So with that, if we had an, opening, the person would have a very great chance, because I could, easily understand the skills of that person that can bring to the table. So having a really open source profile can really help, basically anyone. In fact, I think good to have his personal website. So you can highlight your skills differently. You can add your projects. Someone with the UI kind of background, like if it's really good, it's a really good way for them to showcase their personal websites and add things. The last thing I want to highlight is social media presence. So I think connecting with the right people on the LinkedIn, Twitter, and uh, more importantly, understand the latest trends that are going on in the market. Seeing the direction where things are going. Also, this will also open you to the right roles that you want to target, where you can get the updates on the latest roles. So I think it's really good to have a good social media presence for awareness. Yeah. Understanding the company culture and role. So when you think of joining in a company, it's bi-directional. So it's important for you to understand the company culture, and then see if that kind of culture fits to the place where you want to work. That is one thing. uh, and it also gives you better insight about the company. uh, for example, if you want to work in a company which is really flexible, provides you good work life balance, you want to work in a company which works on cutting edge technologies. uh, if there is a company which is top down, where you get to know from top what you want to do, versus the company which is really open and collaborative. So these kind of things you get to know once you research a bit about the company culture, what are the values. and if that aligns with your experience. And this also helps you to align your skills and expertise with the company culture or vision or values. So if someone who is, looking into your resume or your profile will be easily able to filter, based on the values that you have. And it could they could really see that this person is the right fit. So it's really important to do a bit research on the culture, study the product, and go through the tech blog. So this is one of the interesting thing that I feel can differentiate, if you look into the tech blogs on like what is the latest tech trends or technologies that companies working on. For example, if you're interested in Okta, you can go to their tech blogs, and then you can see what are the technologies that they are working on. This can also help you prepare the role specific questions. So for example, if you're applying for a SDK profile or backend engineer, you can just if you are able to find some relevant tech blogs, you can easily see what are the things that this team is rolling out recently, and then you might be able to even find some questions from there that can be relevant for the interview. Because when someone is working on some problems, they try to ask those kind of questions in the interview as well. So preparing those role-based questions can be really helpful once you look into the tech blogs, even the GitHub profile. So basically, whatever you can find on the tech side of for that company. Yeah. The last thing is practice technical interviews. So now that you have someone has a strong foundation, and it's important to practice it. The more you practice, the better you become at it. Some of the important points I want to highlight here is having strong communication skill. Right. So when you give an interview, you are really sound on the technical front. But if you're not able to communicate it, to the person who is interviewing you, it will be difficult for the person to, really understand what you're trying to say. And then when the person compares you with someone else who is really strong communicator and able to put their point across, um, it becomes really even after having good skills, it becomes difficult for the person to shortlist you. So it's really important to have strong communication skills and present your thought in a very structured way. So for example, coming to the second point, problem solving abilities, even it is applicable for other rounds, like something that is not very technical rounds, but it's really important to have your thoughts put in a structured way where the person can easily understand what you're trying to say. Some of the example that I want to highlight is, there are some techniques that I think you must have heard of, but you may or may not have used it, like star method or SBI framework, basically. So basically you use any method to structure your thought. The idea here is, you give the context to the person who is, interviewing you, make them aware about the situation or the problem, on why you're doing it. Then, like, for example, if we talk about star, situation, task, action, and result. So like first give them the context on what you're talking about. So that, probably a very short one, but for them to come on the page where you are. Then uh, talk about like what's needed, what exactly needed to solve the problem. What is it that you do? So make sure to differentiate between these two, and then make sure to highlight what are the actions that you did to solve the problem. And then like results, what are the results? So what was the result that was achieved? Like, what was the impact? If you're able to highlight the impact of what you have generated in a quantifiable way, that's something that interviewer will take them even after the interview. So this is really applicable for a complex problem where you're working on a bigger problem, because which is more complex. To put it in this format will make it really easy for someone to understand it. Uh, Right. The next point is highlight your passion for the technologies. Right. I think there are many ways where you can do this, and this can really be a differentiating factor for you. Like again, coming to the same point that I mentioned about open source contribution, if you're able to highlight that point subtly in your interview, where it comes across that hey, the person has done really great and also published things on open source, which is a really high standard, because when you make something open source, it has to be of a great quality, and it really shows up in your skills. If you have built on any personal projects around the problem that is being discussed, definitely you can showcase that. You can also, somehow, come make this, appear in the conversation where you're staying updated with industry trends and emerging technologies, which is really important because I think even from the security posture that if you're using, you're on top of the latest things, the latest technologies, it can really help. And then it also showcases the eagerness to learn or the passion about the new technologies, which is really, which is really important or helpful for most of the interviews. I think last point is mock interviews. So, many times where you have everything, but even if you're not practiced, there are few things that are different in the interview, right? It is time bound. You have to finish it within a particular time. You need to make sure that you're highlighting all the right points. You're not missing out something. Um, uh, and the interview can have a little bit added pressure, but compared to when you're working, as an IC or in a team versus giving an interview. So it could be a situation, if you're not used to it, it could add an extra pressure. So it's really important to have some mock interviews or practice before you actually go for interviews. It could be with your friends, anyone that you know, or there are a couple of online platforms where you can try it out. I really find it really helpful for, I think, almost all the different kind of interviews.
Great. Thank you so much. And these tips are really great, and I'm sure everybody will like add it in their job search process. So now that we have insights into the key aspects of applying to various companies, it's evident there are multiple rounds and considerations to manage before pursuing a new role. So let's discuss some other aspects as well. So moving forward to this slide, which talks about the company. So when applying for like a role into any company, the first thing we do is the research about the company, its mission, history, and values. So doing your homework before an interview is a game changer, and it's not only helps you to make informed decisions about whether the company and the role are right fit, but also shows the employer that you are a well prepared candidate. So let's hear about Okta from Arpit.
Sure. Just a disclaimer, I joined Okta about 6, 7 months back, so I'm relatively new. But yeah, I'll try to do my best here. So yeah, one of the thing I want to tell before I talk about Okta. Ever since I have joined Okta, I don't remember entering any password for accessing any application for work at all. Maybe once or twice in last 7 months, but not more than that. So this is one of the power that brings that Okta brings to all its customer, where they don't have to take hassle of managing the passwords or multiple applications. Everything can be managed from single place. It makes it really secure, where you don't need to worry about security as a business, because security is something that you have offloaded to company which is leader in this sector. It makes it really, other than security, it also improves your productivity, where you don't need to remember passwords or juggle with it. Or even with that, any complex flow that you have around different authentications, you want to have a different kind of authentication for power users versus normal users, admin. It comes within itself. And it also have a great experience when you don't have to, enter password. So it really improves the experience and make things faster for you. So Okta is basically a leading identity platform in this sector. Um, just wanted to highlight there are two different parts of Okta. There is workforce identity and customer identity cloud. So workforce identity is the traditional Okta, which I just talked about, where which just takes care of B2B, where for any business, if they have to take care of identity solution within the company, that's what they use WIC, or Workforce Identity Cloud. Second part is CIC. CIC is essentially Auth0. So Okta acquired Auth0 3 years back, and then Auth0 operates as part of CIC. Auth0 secures the customer identity. For example, I have a business and I have my customer, and I want to protect their identity, make it secure for them and hassle free for them. Just to give an example, you all must have used ChatGPT, right? So as part of ChatGPT, when you see sign up, login, that is integrated and a solution is provided by Auth0. So that's what Auth0 does for any business like ChatGPT, or any big businesses, uh, for making authentication and authorization simple for their clients. So it's kind of B2B2C, and at many places B2C, where we have great offerings for um, startups or non-profit organizations, where we provide a lot of functionalities for free as well, based on their usage. Right. So yeah, I think one of the thing I wanted to tell was scalable and flexible. So I think, since this landscape is continuously evolving, so we also make sure that we evolve with the time. For example, just to give example, like passkeys is one of the thing that we Okta provide in-house. I mean, uh, in-house, which is like really secure and frictionless, where you don't even need to enter any kind of authentication. It's just based on your Face ID, fingerprint. So basically, uh, in that way, I think we are constantly evolving, and then trying to see that what are the latest things that we can use. Even with there are a lot of great AI offerings that Okta has. Uh, Strong developer ecosystem. This is something that I can speak from my team. So I am responsible for building SDKs and tools. And this team, the team that I manage, takes care of 50 plus SDKs, and we have a really strong community within the developers who are using it. So yeah, I think overall ecosystem is really great.
Great. Thanks again for introducing us to Okta. So, knowing about a company's culture and values are equally important as knowing about the company. So, it helps you to decide if it's the right environment for you to thrive and ensure your personal values align with their mission. Plus, showing you have done your research highlights your genuine interest and readiness to be a part of their team. So, over to you, Arpit. We would like to know about the culture and the core values at Okta.
Sure. Um, these are the four pillars that's there at Okta: culture, or values. This is across the WIC and CIC, basically across Okta. Uh, Security, then ownership, and innovation, and love for customer. I think these are four major pillars that drive a lot of things that we do at Okta. I can talk about security. Security is, anything and everything that we build. Security is at the core of our thought process. We make sure that, from the time when we're building it, the applications or services that we're building is secure. We have like multiple security teams who takes care of reviewing, whatever we are pushing or giving to customers. They make sure that they do a thorough review, the application or the services. Basically, everything is secure. We have a couple of AI initiatives which also make sure that anything that goes to production, it is secure. It takes care of all the static code analysis, scanning. There are no vulnerabilities that's there. So basically, Okta is a security company, and this is one of the area that we focus and invest heavily. Then talking about innovation, I think innovation is something that there are multiple ways where or multiple things that we do for innovation. I just can highlight a couple of things like hackathons. So we have we as at a company wide, we do hackathon twice a year, where we collectively work on some ideas, or some of far-fetched ideas, some innovative ideas and things that everyone come up with, and then they put dedicated efforts to build them. And a lot of times, what you have seen is, as part of hackathons, the project that we have worked on become the part of roadmap eventually, and then uh, it and many times that itself builds a new product line for us. So this is a great way to think of new ideas, work out of your routine, and then think of something really innovative and work. And people really feel proud about something that they achieve as part of this. Other than that, I think we have innovation weeks every quarter in pockets in a specific team. For example, someone who is working on UI UX, they have a UX week. Someone who's working on like community like SDKs where they want to support communities or developer communities. We have a community week, so we have that. We try to take that week in every quarter to focus on deep and involved work in a specific area, so we can achieve really great things in that area. We also have meetups and workshops. So we try to attend different conferences where we can have more awareness about you know the company brand, and also let them know about the offerings. And we also that also helps us continuously work on the cutting edge technologies and see what's the latest. For example, take example of React. So what is coming in React 19? How can we use micro front ends? Where what are the venues where we can use it? I think this helps. Attending these kind of events really helps us to figure out the use cases better. Lower customers. So I think everything that we do, we put customer or developers, that the customers that are using our product, or developers who are using the products at the forefront, and see how will their experience be when we build the product. Um, One of the things that I want to highlight here is Octane. So we have Octane event that happens once a year, where we highlight or showcase all the products that we have built. We invite all the customers across the globe to that location, and then it's a very big event, week long event, where we really showcase, learn about their use cases, their feedback, positives, negatives, everything. And yeah, I think that's really helpful to build great connections with customers. Uh, right, build an ownership. So I think ownership is something that is really uh, comes with the role. So we make sure that everyone here has great sense of ownership. They can drive things on their own. um, um, we give a lot of flexibility and freedom in terms of how you want to do things. So basically, um, uh, we try to give the kind of problem that we need to solve, and then let everyone come up with different solutions, brainstorm around it, and use the one that's the best one. So I think in that way, I think we give them ownership on, like, you have freedom to choose what you want to build, and how do you want to build it. So in that way, it really helps to build the best quality of the products. Yeah, let's move to next slide. Right. uh, I think the core values are similar. It's more like zooming down to the culture aspect that I mentioned. So it is on the similar line. Maybe I can give a couple of examples here to make it easily relatable. Um, on like, what are the things that we do to adhere or basically follow this core. How does this core value comes up? Like, what it is that we do differently. So I think one of the thing I want to highlight were about, like, we have like ERGs, or employee resource group. So this is in the line of diversity, inclusion, and belonging. Whereas we have different groups within Okta, which is funded by Okta, but then completely depends on someone who is interested in that, if they want to join. That's basically that is that let you be a sense of belonging within or outside the work. For example, we have different groups like women at Okta, the people of different culture, and things like this, where you can connect with the people uh, that you relate to, discuss the common topics. Basically, it's something that you can connect with the people, and then uh, discuss some of the common things that you want to. One of the thing that other thing really interesting is a mentorship program. So other than work, I think if there is any particular area where you want to grow and learn uh, within the company, if you find someone who really admire, I think so in that case, you can take mentorship from them. We have an internal mentorship program where everyone help you in that area. For example, let me take example here. If you want to work on for example, building an SDK. Now someone within the company who has great experience on SDKs. They have open sourced a couple of SDKs, and then they see really high traction on the SDK. Like the person will be idle for you if the person can mentor you, and then you can build grow in your area. Or it could be in the leadership side as well, where you admire really someone who has done extraordinarily in the leadership field, and you are someone who is really promoted as a manager. You can reach out to the person, and they can guide you in that area. So it's more on the line of teamwork and product excellence and ethical leadership, where you can ask any kind of questions. It could be a couple of months long program where you can discuss the practical problems that you are facing, and then the person can help you, give you the right direction. And I've seen this really helpful in multiple areas where you really, the person really grows, improves technically, and ultimately it really helps with the teamwork and innovation. Um, Other thing I wanted to highlight was tech council. So I think to drive innovation and customer focus, we other than the teams working on a specific problem, we make tech councils by bringing different leaders from different teams, and then giving them bigger problems on, like, what are the things that collectively you can improve. For example, how we can improve cross team collaboration, how can you make it better, how can you uh, have a better developer experience in the product that we're building, something that cuts across multiple teams. So building a council like this really helps you solve these bigger problems in a way that lot of multiple people with expert in different areas can come up, bring up their points, then understand the problems that are going on in other teams, other areas, and then come up with come up with a common ground, or common solutions that can work across, get that implemented. So this is something that really drive product excellence across, where you have like a lot of different leaders in different areas, when they pick up a bigger problem, and then come up with a solution that works across. uh, so yeah, let's move to next slide.
Yes. So thank you so much, Arpit, for sharing the core values and culture. It's amazing, I must say. So in front of us, we have this slide, which is interview process. I'm sure many of you guys must be thinking of applying at Okta. So here we have Arpit with us, who can just share a glimpse of what's the process at Okta looks like. So over to you, Arpit.
Sure. So since Okta is a very big company, the interview process vary on different teams or different domains. I just wanted to highlight one of the interview process that we follow across Auth0 or CIC. It could be slightly different in other areas, but first thing I want to advise you is uh, make sure that you talk to recruiter to understand the process. The recruiter is the right person who can really explain you the interview process for a particular role or particular team. You can ask a lot of questions to recruiter. If you have any questions, make sure to clarify it so that you can prepare better for the interviews. Having said that, I'll just walk you to the process that we are following in CIC or Auth0. Uh, so first, I think once your profile is shortlisted, yeah, recruiter screens your profile and make sure that it matches to the required skill set. At many times, recruiter also look at your as I mentioned earlier, your GitHub profiles, your personal blogs, anything that really helps recruiter. And that really helps you to stand out when recruiter does the screening. So once initially the recruiter screening is done and your profile is shortlisted, that's when you move to the next round. In most of the cases, whether it is IC or leadership, a technical take home assessment. It's a online tech round. This is something that's is applicable across the roles. Idea here is you know uh, some technical challenge which is simple enough, but then it has, you know, other things that basically you need to take care of everything here. Um, so let me explain this a bit. I think why this round is important. Here we, as a part of technical home assessment, we make sure that you are thinking of the solution holistically. So when you write your code, are you thinking of all the corner cases? Are you thinking of all the tests? Are you thinking of the complete solution? Is it something that, are you giving enough importance to unit test? So basically, having a complete solution, including the testing, is really important here. This is something that is used as a shortlisting with some criteria. So this once someone qualifies the technical assessment, then we move to the next round. Uh, Next two sections, I'll talk about collectively. That is technical interview and cultural fit and leadership assessment. Uh, the order of these interviews can change. The criteria here is, we have two technical interviews. One is to, figure out your problem solving, programming skills, and some of the basic programming skills. Questions will be given to you to solve either live, uh, or if it is in session, I mean in person, it will be on whiteboard. But idea here is to know your thought process when you code. When you write a code for any particular problem, uh, more than solution, it's important to understand, like, what are the thought process. There could be cross questions here. Once, for example, once you complete a problem, then it could be, the level could be made a bit difficult, or there could be more cross questions in this area, but it's more about to understand your thought process. The second technical round is more specific or rule based. For example, if you're working on a backend side, most likely it'll be system design round to understand your skills at system design, on how well you'll be able to design a system on a large scale. Uh, if you're working on front end part, I think it will be very specific to front end. So it's not hard and fast. It depends on the role. It can be a live problem as well. For example, for some of the front end roles, you could be given a real world problem to solve, where you have to understand the problem, solve it. So it depends, but it's more of a deep dive into very specific roles and technologies. And the cultural fitment is hiring manager round. So this is also a very crucial round to understand the motivation that's behind your change. What are your expectations for the role? Cultural fitment. I think what I've seen is Okta gives a lot of value to culture, and make sure that the person who is joining, they are the right fit at the culture that we have, that I talked about in one of the previous slides. So the person should closely fit to the culture, and we generally ask questions around those lines, and then understand from the previous experience on, like, how well you'll be able to fit to the culture. For example, just to give an example, someone who is really great technically but can't work in team, uh, like, almost not there on the teamwork. I think we may there are chances the person may not be selected, because teamwork is one of the core value that we have. The person should be able to bring work in the team, and then collectively we should be able to drive things. So things like this are really important. So that is kind of assessed in hiring manager round. The last one is leadership round. I think it is applicable for very few senior roles, where your strategic thinking, more of like how can you influence other team when you don't have someone direct reportees. You need to influence the teams when you don't have regular connects directly with them. Um, and more on the leadership side is evaluated on that round, that is applicable for senior roles. But overall, this is the interview process that's there.
Great. Thank you so much for sharing it. I think we can move to the next slide. So, here we have a lot of opportunities mentioned, and there are a lot of people who are asking about the open roles there at Okta. So, you can just go to their career page, you can explore it all. And I think Arpit has mentioned a few, which is already there in this slide. So, because we are running like the time is almost there, and so we should just go to the Q&A because there are some amazing questions in the chat box, and let's pick it up. So yeah, I think one question which I have seen, like two, three people have asked, is there any remote opportunities also available at Okta?
Yeah. So I think Okta operates in a lot of different companies, and I mean, sorry, a lot of different countries. And in many countries, it is remote, and in some countries, it is hybrid. Especially in India, there are few roles which are remote. I think you'll be able to find it on the job board. But most of the roles that we have are hybrid. We have our office located in Bangalore, so I think since it's a relatively newer office, Okta started in India or in Bangalore last year. So it's year and a half old here, and we really think here it's since it is new, it's really important for everyone to have a good collaboration. So it's kind of a hybrid with one or two, basically a few days in a week. Depends on the team you are in. The hybrid structure can change, but majorly it is hybrid in India, but at different location, in some location it is remote.
Great. Thanks for answering that. So we have questions now, which I'll pick up. So, given the current job market, what are some key strategies to make a resume stand out and secure that first interview call?
Right. Very interesting question. I think few things I'll tell you here. I think having a short and crisp resume where just add what you want to highlight instead of adding everything. So I've seen resume which is very long and lengthy. Someone is a recruiter. It's really difficult for them when they have like lot hundreds of resume to check. If you just write what you want to highlight, especially you should see the requirements and JDs and see how your resume aligns. Make it as much as you can. Try to make it very specific to that, or highlight the examples that are very relevant, and remove things that are not relevant. So have a resume should not be more than 2-3 pages. So make it short, crisp, and relevant. That is one thing. Second thing is, I think you would have seen resumes, or people who are applying on the social media, or even interacting with on the social media. For example, um, someone who is working on the product management, they are giving feedback, very relevant feedback on their product on the social media. I think that really gets highlighted. uh, so if you do very specific thing for the roles, like for example, again, coming to one of the previous example, if you're working on the UX UI side, if you have a very different resume, or if you have a personal website that's highlighting your UX or UI skills, and then you add in your resume, it could be really helpful. If you're working on the backend side, if you have designed some of the systems that you can highlight, adding that examples or links in your resume can be really helpful. So adding useful references and links to resume can really add bonus point to resume.
Great. So we have another question. So how can we stay updated with the latest trends and technologies in the tech industry? And with the continuation, we have one more question. Um, is it recommended to learn new technologies or deep dive in the already known technologies?
Right. I think this with the world which is changing very fast with the technologies, it is not easy to be updated. But I think you need to find places where you can consume the latest trends and technologies. The few places that I mean, there are a lot of places that like the tech crunch or the tech news are something that you can subscribe to read the tech news. There are a lot of good medium articles. So when you subscribe to it, you start getting the relevant articles. So read those articles or blogs. Basically, I think one of the thing that you as I mentioned earlier, was the tech blog. So for example, if you are targeting a company or a couple of companies, if you read their tech blogs, generally a company posts the latest things that they are building on in the tech blogs, all the tech news. If you read that and deep dive into that, or even if not, at least you have a glance at it, you'll be and if you do that regularly, I think you'll be able to get updated with the latest trends that are going in the market. um, yeah, I think other than that, I think it's a good thing for I mean, once you're updated with the latest trends, I think you also try to write some of these things. I think so, the things that you're working on, that will also motivate you to be updated. For example, if you're working on something, if you're writing blogs about it, making it open source, you'll be more aware about the things that are that someone already is working on, so you'll do a bit more research in that area, and that can be really helpful. uh, what was the second thing that you asked, Divya? Could you
Yeah.
repeat?
So it was, is it recommended to learn new technologies or deep dive in the already known technologies?
Yeah, I would say both, and here is why. I think the first thing for you to have you know have a core skills or deep dive into existing technologies, any one of the technologies that you're working on, so that you have a core strength. But it's really important to have an overview, if not deep dive, but at least have an overview of all the technologies that are there. So whenever you work on something, when you build something, rather than doing deep dive into one, do a high level comparison overview, have some kind of analysis, and then have some data based on that, pick some technologies, and then do deep dive. So again, it has to be in the form of T, where you do deep dive into one, or at least one, and then have an overview of all. It's really important to understand all, uh, because if there could be some technologies or solutions that you might be missing, you might not be using, which can really solve the purpose for you better. So in that way, I think yeah, it's both, but focus on one technologies indeed.
Great. So, do we also have some opportunities for the freshers or um, 1 year of experience?
Um, yeah, I think the more opportunities that I see are for more experienced people, given that we need uh, someone who has context either on the domain or in some other domain, but relevant technologies. But I think, yeah, I've seen a few in the past where someone with 1 or 2 years of experience, there were few roles open. I think once in a while, um, we keep opening those roles, and I'm sure, I think there will be, if not multiple, there will be very few roles for people with 1 or 2 years of experience. I think one of the thing I want to say is I've seen Uplers, and there are a lot of good opportunities that are available, uh, even for freshers or 1 or 2 years experience. So I think that itself can be a great platform to find those kind of opportunities.
Yes. So we have another question, which is, which programming languages or frameworks are in high demand right now?
I mean, it completely depends on the kind of company or kind of domain that you're working on. So I mean, you can also see the trend data on, like, over the years, what are the languages that are growing. Uh, I mean, I could be biased here because the ones that I've used currently and in past companies, there are few languages that I have seen growing. Doesn't mean that not other languages are not, but I think few of the languages that are there are, if you talk about backend, I've seen Go. People are adapting a lot on Go because it is really fast, efficient, and I think yeah, and I think it's not very difficult to code as well. So in that way, I think Go has been gaining more popularity on the backend side. I think front end, no doubt, JavaScript. Even JavaScript is a great language, because with JavaScript you can easily, this is one of the language you can just be build your expertise around full stack. There are a lot of frameworks, upcoming frameworks in JavaScript on the front end side that are coming up. I think the community is really vast. So React is something that's really popular. Angular, React, Next.js. Svelte, Next.js. So basically, a lot of different frameworks are built on top of JavaScript. So this is something one of the great languages to learn because the scope is really vast. Then again, I mean, there are many languages like Python. Uh, if you really want to start, it's really easy for you to script in Python. Really easy for someone new to start. So Python. So these are the few languages, but irrespective of that, I think if you have very strong hold on one language, uh, for you to pick up new languages very easy because you know the core fundamentals. You just need to find out the differences in the new languages, and then you are set. So yeah.
Great. So we have another question, which is what resources or courses would you recommend for continuous learning and upskilling?
In the current scenario, I think there are a lot of resources available. There is no there is it is available in abundance. I think some of the resources that I use for learning, I generally prefer reading blogs because that solves the specific purpose for me and then get me up to the speed. But there are places like Udemy or other online platforms where you can have you can do some specific courses or skill-based courses. So what my recommendation would be, to look for skill-based courses, search for that, evaluate like what are the best, the courses which are highly rated or the places which provide high value to you, and then do that instead of, doing very long something which has multiple things. So try to go for skill-based courses. Udemy is one thing that I've used, but I'm sure there are multiple things like EDX, or you can find a lot of resources. Then second thing is, I think a lot of AI solutions are there, so I think you can use them. I think Gemini, ChatGPT, and there are a lot of things that you can use. They can, solve a very specific purpose for you. So I think really important for you to, make sure that you're using AI, you're having the right kind of prompts so you can get the right data. That can be really powerful to, keep your learning pace high.
Great. So let's pick the last question for today. And it is, what are the particular qualities do you look for? You look in a candidate for a senior role.
Right. So as you become senior, I think one thing that I feel is, when you are senior, you are trying to solve bigger problems. So for example, as you grow senior, there are bigger problems which are less defined, and you need to define the problem and solve them. Versus when you're not when you're someone junior, you need very specific things to work on, and then you can, solve that kind of problem. So one of the things that I look for in a senior engineer is the ability or aptitude um, to deal with a complex situation. uh, so someone who is really senior should be able to, have a very structured thinking, and should be able to articulate and communicate properly. Of course, this is the tech skills is given, like that's a must, like someone who should have a very great fundamentals on the tech. But other than that, the person should have the ability to solve bigger problems, understand the problems, because there are many times where, the problems are really vague. So the person should be able to, communicate well to understand the problem, define the scope, and solve that kind of problem. So communication is one of the things that I look for. Then autonomy. So someone with a great sense of ownership can drive things. And as your senior, I think when you're expected to solve these kind of problems, you need to have very high sense of accountability and ownership. And this is, I mean, there are multiple things that are needed, but this is one of the things that I look forward to for the person who is really driven, has autonomy and ownership. Which gives him more confidence in the person, and, get things done by the person.
Great. Thank you so much. With this, we come to the end of this session, and your insights have been incredibly valuable to us. Thank you for dedicating your time to support our community's growth, and your commitment has significantly enhanced job opportunities for the tech community and expanded options for our job seekers. So thank you so much, Arpit, for being here.
Yeah, thank you so much for Divya for providing this opportunity. Really grateful to be here, and hope it would have helped folks a bit. So yeah.
Yeah, so for our joiners, we have few next steps. We'll be sharing all the details with you, like this session PPT and the recordings on our WhatsApp group and on LinkedIn as well. So for future insightful sessions, make sure to register on Uplers. You'll find many job posted from different companies over there. And for applying to Okta, you can go to their career page and apply straight away. And for the people who are not a part of our Discord community, can join in through the link shared. And once you join our community, you will get the exclusive access to a lot of things which we do there. So please stay tuned for updates, and we eagerly anticipate hosting more such sessions for you guys. Thank you so much.